هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. Brothers, come closer inshallah. Come closer if you can inshallah. Some run to move, some don't want to move. هكذا. فإن أصدق حديث كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. عفوا. عظم الجزاء مع عظم البلاء. The greater the hardship or trial or tribulation, the greater the reward. The greater the difficulty, the greater the reward. The greater the trial or tribulation or difficulty that you are put through, the greater the reward will be for you and for me from Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. إِذَا هَبَ اللَّهُ قَوْمٍ ابْتَلَاهُمْ. If Allah loves a people, He puts them to trial. He tests them. He places them through difficulty. قال الله تعالى, Allah the Exalted stated, في سورة البقرة, وَلِنَبْلِوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ. And we will test you with something of fear, وَالْجُوعِ, and hunger, وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ, and loss of wealth and souls and vegetation. وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ, and give glad tidings to those who have patience. الَّذِينَ إِذَا صَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ, those who, if any difficulty or trial or tribulation occurs upon them or happens to them, قَالُوا إِنَّ لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّ إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. They say, verily we are for Allah, and to Allah will return. أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ. They are those who will receive prayers from their Lord, upon them prayers from their Lord, وَرَحْمَةٌ, and mercy, وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُهْتَدُونَ, and it's those who are guided. عِظَمُ الْجَزَاءِ مَعَ عِظَمِ الْبَلَاءِ. The great reward is in accordance with how great one's trial, difficulty, or test is. The greater the test and trial, the greater the reward. And everyone must have tests, and everyone will have trials, and everyone will be put through difficulty. Everyone will have moments of grief, moments of sadness, moments where things are not as they feel or would like them to be. But the difference is, the believer is patient. The believer believes in the decree of Allah. The believer seeks the reward of Allah at that time. The believer praises Allah. The believer will be rewarded in his time of difficulty. The believer house burns, and the kafir house burns. The believer needs an operation, and the kafir needs an operation. The believer loses a mother, and the kafir loses a mother. The believer loses his life, of course, and the kafir will lose his life. Everyone experiences difficulty. Everyone experiences trials and tribulations. But the believer, for what Allah has given him of iman, and for what he has of patience, and being pleased with the decree of Allah, and seeking the reward of Allah, and seeing the wisdom of Allah Ta'ala in his difficulty, he will be raised, and he will receive great reward. أخرج أبو داود في سننه. Abu Dawud mentions in the Sunan, والحاكم وأحمد ولفله. The word is for Ahmad. وهو في الصحيحة. It is in the Sahihah. When you hear as-Sahihah, it is not talking about Bukhari or Muslim. As-Sahihah is the silsila that was done and it's the legacy of Sheikh Abu Abdurrahman Muhammad Nasruddin al-Albani, rahimahullah, his series or collection of authentic narrations. Sahihah, hadith number 959. عن أبي موسى رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن أمتي أمة مرحومة. This my ummah is a ummah that has mercy upon it. Marhuma. A ummah that has mercy, that has been enwrapped in mercy. ليس عليها في الآخرة عذاب. There's no punishment for this ummah in the hereafter. إلا عذابها في الدنيا. Except their punishment that they experience in the dunya. Al-qadlu, killing and death and dying. Wal-bala'u, trials and tribulations. Wazalazilu, earthquakes and the like. And the wording with Abu Dawood is, Ummati hadhihi ummatun marhuma. This ummah of mine is an ummah that Allah has placed His mercy upon. Laysa alayha adhab fil akhirah. They won't have any, this ummah won't have any punishment in the hereafter. Adhabuha fid dunya. Its punishment is in this world. Al-fitanu, fitan, trials and tribulations and difficulties. Was-zilazilu wal-qatlu. Was-zilazilu wal-qatlu. Earthquakes and killing, murder, death, like this. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه فيما أخرجه البخاري ومسلم, as has been related in Bukhari and Muslim رحمهم الله, أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من يريد الله به خيرا يصيبه or يصيب منه أي يصيبه ببلاه. Who Allah wants good for him, He puts them to test. Come closer, brothers. As you see the brother waving like that, come closer. He puts them to test. He puts them through difficulties. Like a diamond or some metal that has to be burnt. And then that which is bad from it is removed. And then you have that which is dhahab khalis, or that which is the pure gold or the pure diamond or whatever. Put them to test, trials, and difficulties. It has been related by Tirmidhi ibn Majah. And Anas and the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam Inna, and this is the hadith we started with, Inna adam al-jaza'i ma'idham al-bala'. Idham al-jaza'i ma'idham al-bala'. The greater reward is with the greater trial. Or the greater the trial or difficulty or test or hardship is, then the greater the reward. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ إِذَا هَبَّ قَوْمًا ابْتَلَاهُمْ. And Allah, if He loves the people, He tests them. فَمَنْ رَضِيَ. So he who is pleased, فَلَهُ رِضَى. Then he will be pleased. وَمَنْ سَخِطَ. He who is displeased, فَلَهُ السَّخَطِ. Then he will be displeased. قال فضيل بن عياد رضي الله عنه الناس ما داموا في عافية مستورون. The people, as long as they're in good health, good shape, good condition, they're covered. You don't know their true character. Masturun, because they're in good situation. They're in good circumstance. An-nasu madamu fi afiyatin masturun. As long as they're in good case, good situation, good circumstances, they're covered. فَإِذَا نَزَلَ بِهِمْ بَلَاهٌ. But if a trial or difficulty or hardship comes upon them, صَارُوا إِلَى حَقَائِقِهِمْ. Then you'll see their reality. They'll go to their reality. فَصَارُوا مُؤْمِنْ إِلَى إِيمَانِهِ. The mu'min will run to his iman. The mu'min will run to his belief. The believer will run to his belief, to his iman. وَصَارُ مُنَافِقْ إِلَى نِفَاقِهِ. And the hypocrite will run to his hypocrisy. And the hypocrite will run to his hypocrisy. And without being shaken, you don't know what comes to the top and what goes to the bottom. Without being shaken, you don't know the men from those who are faking. You don't know the true women from those who are faking. You don't know those who truly believe from those who don't. Those who make a claim on their tongue and it's not really in their heart and upon their limbs, from those who are willing to die for this matter. This can only be shown by trials and tribulations and tests and difficulties. Fi hadith sahih, and also Sheikh Nasir brings it in his Sahihah, he numbers it 147. الذي أخرجه الإمام دارمي والإمام Ahmad brought it. This hadith is sahih actually. As he said, Darimi and Imam Ahmad brought it. And Suhaib says, we were sitting with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. يعني بينما رسول الله قائد مع أصحابه إذ ضحك. Prophet ﷺ was sitting with his companions, and suddenly he laughed. Suddenly, the Prophet ﷺ laughed. فقال ألا تسألوني مما أضحك? Won't you ask me from what I'm laughing about? Why I'm laughing? قال يا رسول الله, O Messenger of Allah, مما تضحك? What are you laughing about? قال عجبت لأمر المؤمن. I laughed because I was astonished at the affair of a believer. إن أمره كله خير. Listen, these are the words of Mustafa alayhi salam. He doesn't speak of his own desires. Whatever he speaks is revelation. Listen, this is the words of Rasulullah describing a believer. إن أمره كله خير. All of his affair, all of his circumstance is good. All of it. إن أصابه ما يحب حمد الله وكان له خير. If something happens to him that he loves, if Allah blesses him with something that he loves, then he praises Allah, and this is good. When أصابه ما يكره, and if something happens to him, if he's put through some difficulty or test or trial or tribulation or hardship, something that he hates, فَصَبَرَ, he's patient. كَانَ لَهُ خَيْرٌ, and that is good for him. وَلَيْسَ كُلَّ أَحَدٍ أَمْرُهُ لَهُ خَيْرٌ إِلَى الْمُؤْمِنِ. And no one situation is totally good except the believer. And no one else's affair, no one else's circumstance, no one else's condition, no one else's situation is totally good except the mu'min, except the believer. أشد الناس بلاء الأنبياء. The ones who received the most difficulty and went through the most hardship and went through the most difficulty were the most beloved people to Allah, the prophets. Allah loved them amongst more than the rest of mankind or the creatures, and He tested them. He put them to test. He put them through hardship. He put them through difficulties. Listen to this narration that Ibn Majah brings and Ibn Sa'd and Hakim. And Sheikh Nasir brings it as 144 in Sahihah. All throughout Abi Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu qala dakhaltu ala nabi. I entered upon the Prophet ﷺ. That's when before the Prophet ﷺ passed away. He was suffering, if you will. And having a fever. And I placed my hand for wada'tu yadi alayh. I placed my hand upon him. فوجدت حروه بين يديه فوق اللحاف. I felt the heat from above the blanket. I felt the heat of his fever from above the blanket. فقلت يا رسول الله, I said, O Messenger of Allah, ما أشدها عليك, how hard it is upon you. قال إنا كذلك. Yes, it's like that. يضاعف لنا البلاء trials and tribulations and hardships and difficulties are doubled and multiplied and increased for us, meaning the prophets. وَيُدَعْفُ لَنَا الْأَجْرِ, but also the reward, the blessing, the level that he's raised with Allah Ta'ala is also multiplied and increased for him. قُلْتُ يَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ, I said, O Mr. Allah, أَيِّ نَاسَ شَدَّ بَلَاءً, who are the people most put to difficulty? Who are the people most tested? Who goes through the most trials and tribulations, O Messenger of Allah? قال الأنبياء, he said the prophets. قُلْتُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ ثُمَّ مَنْ, then who? قال ثُمَّ الصَّالِحُونَ, then the righteous. إِنْ كَانَ أَحَدٌ لِيُبْتُلِي بِالْفَقْرِ, some of them are tested with poorness. حَتَّى مَا يَجْرَ أَحَدٌ إِلَّا إِبَاءَ الَّتِي يَحْوِيهَا, and so some of them don't have no clothing except a baya that they place around their bodies, nothing else. وَإِنْ كَانَ أَحَدٌ يَفْرَحُ بِبَلَاهِ, but one of them used to be so happy when he was put to trial or test. كَمَا يَفْرَحُ أَحَدٌ بِرِخَاهِ, like you seek enjoyment and pleasure and contentment through ease. They were happy with trial and tribulation like you're happy with ease. قال تعالى, Allah the Exalted stated, في سورة الزمر, إنما يوفى الصابرون أجرهم بغير حساب. Verily the patient will get their reward without it being estimated, without it being calculated. It can't be counted. What is waiting for reward for that one who is patient? فالصبر, patience, أخي Muslim, my brother Muslim, al-ibtilah, upon when you put the trial, upon when you put the test, upon when you go through sadness, upon when you go to hardship, upon when you go through difficulties. Patience, as-sabr, alamatul khayr. It is the sign that you're upon khayr. It's the sign that you're upon good. It is this distinguishing characteristic or this distinguishing matter that shows that you're upon good. كما جاء في الحديث, as occurred in the hadith of Sahih that's related by Abu Dawood بإسناده عن مقدار بن أسود مرفوعا إن السعيد لمن جنب الفتن ولمن ابتلي فالصبر فواها. Verily Sa'id, the happy one, is the one who can avoid trials and tribulations, especially those that lead him astray or take him away from his deen. But the one who is tested and he's patient, fawaha, yani meaning so great a reward for him. So great a reward for him. An unimaginable reward for him. Also has been related by Bukhari and Muslim on authority Ata ibn Abi Rabah. قال لي Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas said to him, should I not show you a woman from the women of Jannah? قلت بلى قال هذه المرأة السوداء. This black woman who came to the Prophet Islam and said, verily I have seizures and I become uncovered. Make dua to Allah for me. The Prophet Islam said, if you are patient, you will have the Jannah. And if you want, I'll make dua for you that you be made healthy. She said, I'll be patient. I'll be patient. So the Prophet Islam, she said, I'll be patient, but make sure I don't become uncovered. So the Prophet Islam made dua to Allah that she doesn't become uncovered. This is how the Salaf was. Because of this, qala ba'da Salaf, some of the Salaf used to say, إِذَا نَزَلَتْ بِكَ مُصِيبَةٌ فَصَبَرْتَ. If a difficulty happens to you, a hardship happens to you, you're put to trial, you're tested, and you're patient, كَانَ مُصِيبَتُكَ وَاحِدَةٌ. Then you only got one difficulty. You only got one hardship. You only got one problem. When نَزَلَ بِكَ وَلَمْ تَصْبِرْ. But if a difficulty or hardship or trial comes your way and you're not patient, فَقَدْ أُصِبْتَ بِمُصِيبَتَيْنِ. Then you have two problems and two hardships. And particularly if it's a loss of a child or a loss of a loved one. If you're not patient with that, then you have two difficulties. The loss of the one you love, plus the loss of the award or reward you would have got if you had been patient. فَالصَّبْرُ عَلَى ابْتِلَاءٍ عِبَادَةً لِلَّهِ. To be patient upon the tests and the trials and the hardships and the difficulties, guess what? It's a worship for Allah. It's a worship for Allah. Many of us know that salat is a worship, and zakat is a worship, and ruku is a worship, and sujood is a worship, and reading Quran is a worship. How many of us know that being patient upon a hardship, upon a sadness, being patient upon a difficulty, upon a test, upon a trial, ibadatun lillah, is a worship for Allah. Ibadatun lillah. قال تعالى, Allah says in Surah Hajj, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُرُ اللَّهَ عَلَى الْحَرْفِ. Amongst mankind there are some who worship Allah on the edge. On the edge. فَإِنْ أَصَابُهُ خَيْرًا اطْمَأَنَّ بِهِ. If good comes to him or happens to him, he's content with it. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ فِتْنَةٌ إِنْقَلَبَ عَلَى وَجْهِهِ. But if a fitna comes to him, if a hardship befalls him, if a sadness comes his way, if something that brings about grief comes his way, if he's tested, if he's put to the test to see whether he meets the level that he should meet, what happens? Flips upon his face. Flips upon his face. خَسِرَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. He loses this world and the hereafter. ذَلِكَ هُوَ خُسْرَانُ الْمُبِينَ. And there's no doubt that that is the clear loss. Walhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. Wa ba'd. The greater the test, the greater the reward. The greater the hardship, the greater the reward. The greater the difficulty, the greater the reward from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And the Salaf understood this. Urwa ibn Zubair. Urwa ibn Zubair, great, well known from the Salaf. Usib fi qadamihi. He had a problem in his feet. So the doctors decided, we have to cut it off, man. We're going to cut the foot off. Foot got to go. قرر اتباعه قطعها. And then قطعها. فقطعت. When they cut it off, فما زاد على أن قال, he didn't say anything except these words. O Allah, for you are full praise. For if you have taken some, you have left some. And if you have tested and put through difficulty, you have also put in good condition. If you have tested and tried and put through difficulty, you have also put good health, good circumstances, and good conditions. Then the next day, he got his foot cut off that day. And this is what he said. Then the next day, his son was riding a horse or mule or whatever and fell off of it. Dead. Kind of shab and yafi on a young man. فَمَاتَ فِي حِينِهِ مَاتَ مِنْ حِينِهِ. Died at that time, right at that time. So they came to him to Urwa with the information of the death of his son. He didn't say anything except that he said, Allahumma lakal hamd. Allah, for you is the praise. For if you have taken some, you have left some. And if you have tested and tried, you have also placed in good condition and good situation. So when he was asked about this, he said, I had 4 limbs. And he means 2 arms and 2 legs. This is what he means by Allah took some and left some. I had 4 limbs, 2 arms, 2 legs. Allah Ta'ala took 1 and left me 3. I had 7 sons. Allah Ta'ala took 1 and left 6. And He gave me this, He gave me good condition or good situation my whole life up until this time. Then He tested me. Should I not praise Allah for that? Should I not praise Allah for that? Al-Ibtila'at, tests, trials, difficulties, hardships, grief, sadness, pain. It raises the level of the believer. Rafa darajat raises the level of the believer. Wa kafarat lil khataya. It's an expiation for sins. It removes sins, these difficulties, and it raises one's level higher with Allah. Raises one's level higher. Places one in a station or circumstance that he might not have met. He would never have reached if he had not went through that test. It is related in the Sahih also. Muhammad bin Khalid Abihi and Jaddih. And his grandfather was a companion. That he went out visiting a brother. Then he heard that the brother was sick. So he entered upon the brother and he said, Ataytuka zairan aidan wa mubashiran. I came to you as a visitor and now also one visiting the sick and also someone giving you glad tidings. The person said that he was visiting, Kayfa jama'ta hadha kullah? How you gather all this? And he's somebody who was a visitor, somebody visiting the sick, and somebody who was giving glad tidings. How you gather all that? Qala kharajtu, I came out, when uri ziyaratik, and I wanted to visit you. فبلغني and it reached me that you were sick. فكان إيادة, then it became I'm visiting a sick person also. وبشرك بشيء, and I give you glad tidings with something. سمعته من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, that I heard from the messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال إذا سبقت للعبد من الله منزلة لن يبلغها بعمله ابتلاه الله في جسده وفي ماله وفي ولده ثم صبر حتى يبلغه المنزلة التي سبقت له منه. Honey, if Allah has decreed or wants for a servant a certain manzala, certain position in the Jannah, high position in the Jannah, alright, and the servant is not going to reach it. He keeps going like he's going, he's not going to reach it. Allah Ta'ala would test him, would put him through hardship, would put him through difficulty regarding his body. Maybe he'll get sick or something. Or regarding his wealth, maybe he'll lose something. Or regarding his children, maybe one of them will pass away or become sick or whatever. So that this person can become patient, have this ibadah, this worship of patience, then what? So that he can reach the position that Allah wanted for him. So that he can reach the position that Allah wanted for him. And Mus'ab ibn Sa'd and Abihi. Alakuti ya Rasulullah, same hadith. Who are the people who receive the most difficulties and trials and tribulations? He said the prophets, then those most like them, then the most like them. فَيُبْتِلَ الرَّجُلَ عَلَى حَسَبِ دِينِهِ. A man will be tested in accordance with his deen. A man will go through difficulties in accordance with his deen. A man will go through hardship in accordance with his deen. A man will experience sadness and grief in accordance with his deen. عَلَى حَسَبِ دِينِهِ. فَإِنْ كَانَ دِينُهُ سَلْبًا اشْتَدَّ بَلَاؤُهُ. If his deen is strong, then his difficulties will be great. His trials will be hard. وَإِنْ كَانَ فِي دِينِهِ رِكَّةٌ. And if he has in his deen some ease, then or some lightness, then he will be tested in accordance with the lightness of his deen. Because al-bala won't leave a servant. Trials, trial or test won't leave a servant until he leaves him. Until he leaves him. He goes through so many difficulties and trials that it leaves him in such a state that he's walking upon the earth without a sin. That he's walking upon the earth without a sin. And another hadith, ma min musibatin. Listen to this, brother. If you have a difficulty in your life, sister, if you're having a difficulty in your life, if there's some sadness in your household, if you've lost a child, if that child's been hurt, if there's a sickness in your family, or whatever the case, whatever difficulty, whatever trial, whatever problem you're going through, listen to the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It'll make it clear. Listen to the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It'll cool your heart. It'll guide you. It'll take you to that which is right. It'll correct you. It'll increase your faith and your patience bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Ma min musibatin. There is no difficulty. Tusib al-Muslim. That happens to a Muslim. Illa kafarallahu biha anhu hatta shawkatun yushakuha. Except that Allah removes a sin because of it, even a thorn or a prick that may stick him or her. And even to that degree. If Allah removes sins to that degree, what about some other sadness, or some other loss, or some other trial, or some other difficulty? Lastly, and Abi Hurairah, because we left out some narrations, because we're looking at the time. And Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu, that he heard the Prophet ﷺ say, and it's also Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Ma yusiba mu'min min wasabin. No pain or sickness affects a believer. Wala nasabin, and no tiredness. Wala sakamin, and this is also sickness. Wala hazanin, or grief, nor any worry, except that Allah removes from that person a sin because of it. This should tell us to be patient. This should tell us that our pathways are not going to be full with rose petals, and life is not going to always give you that which you want or you think you deserve. That they're going to come down your way or through your way and through your life, into your life, things that are sad, things that are grief, that bring grief, things that bring difficulty. But your test is shown, and your character is shown, your mettle is shown by whether or not you can weather the storm, by being patient with the decree of Allah and praising Allah tabarak wa ta'ala and hoping from the reward of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. For no one can reward what Allah tabarak wa ta'ala will give the person who has patience. Allah tabarak wa ta'ala has granted it. Well, we're granted without calculation. We're granted without it being something that we can calculate or imagine. So any difficulty, brother, reflect upon this issue. That is khair for you, is good for you, if you're a believer, and if you're patient, and if you praise Allah Ta'ala, and it's a way to remove your sins, and a way that you have no understanding of, but that Allah Ta'ala may be preparing you for a better station and status in the hereafter that you would not have reached if He had left you in the state that you were in. But when He tested you, you were patient, and therefore, inshallah ta'ala, that position or that status will be there. هذا وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وأقيم الصلاة.
من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله